An element of future-proofing your system is having the advanced technology, the processing power underneath the hood of a system amplifier, which ensures you've got the flexibility without complication to manage the changes in service structure, alterations in your environment, so that whatever change comes your way, you can handle it with ease.
So some common environmental problems that we might face might be air absorption. So as sound travels through the air itself takes away energy, and it actually changes the frequency response of the sound that you're hearing. Now, as an engineer, as somebody mixing the sound, they might be trying to figure out what's going on, and it might not be obvious because they can't see anything that's changed. So they might spend a lot of time trying to problem solve this. All the while, what's happening is the congregation then are hearing a different mix. Something's changed. They don't know what it is. So they're not necessarily enjoying or connecting quite with the music and the speech in the way they should have been. And it can be quite a task to figure all of this out and try and find out how to solve this.
In situations like this, it's very important that we have all this advanced system processing included in the amplifiers. So there's nothing additional, it's already part of the system. It's like the icing on the cake for the system, but it's gonna make your life much simpler, but easy to use at the same time. So in real life, this means that using a technology like array processing, you can quickly change the tonal characteristics of the array and tailor the coverage to the environment, because every frequency looks a little different. So we have to process things different depending on where you are in the space. So basically what our software ArrayCalc does is it evaluates the space. It uses the array processing to maximize the coverage front to back and give everybody the same experience. It looks simple, but it's incredibly complex what's going on underneath the hood. This is great because it gives us confidence to use it, but we're still getting that processing power.
So the applications for array processing, well, first fundamentally, what it allows us to do is, despite the fact we have one shape of array, that we can't maybe angle that for every frequency to be perfect. Array processing actually is the tool that allows us to create really even tonality front to back, that without it, we wouldn't be able to achieve such even tonality. It also allows us, in the presence of tiered seating maybe, to make adjustments to a system.
All of a sudden we have tools that were previously never available to us. Let's say we have a service on a Wednesday night that is just on the floor, but the room has 2 balconies. In the past, we would have just had to put all that energy up there because it was all one system, so we just had to put sound where we didn't need it. Now with something like array processing, we can basically tell the PA, hey, I only want you to cover the main floor tonight. And then when I get done with that, I could quickly change back to a regular setup.
Or maybe you might have certain areas that are noise sensitive. So be it an area where, I don't know, maybe there's kids playing or doing some other activity, or maybe there's an area that's sensitive on a broadcast basis where you need to have really clean microphones without sound spilling into them. Well, we can use features such as level avoidance and reflection zones in array processing to make sure specific areas we actually drop the level in a really, really clever and powerful way. We might also have a changing environment. So in the presence of a changing air humidity or temperature, we can use array processing to calculate these changes in temperature and air humidity and account for this on a show by show or song by song basis, and make sure that the sound that you hear is consistent despite the fact you're in a changing environment. An example of this would be a few years ago at the Soul Survivor Festival. It's an outdoor tent. There's 10,000 youth in this venue. And in the morning, it's fairly cold and there's maybe dew on the ground. So there's a little bit of dampness in the air. And as the day goes on, it warms up. So the temperature increases, but the humidity goes down. And as we get to the evening, the temperature starts to go down again. But now we have a lot of hot sweat bodies in the room. So the humidity goes up in the tent. And the engineer, kind of event by event by event during the day, would notice these differences and wouldn't understand what it was. And I remember him saying to me, Steve, it feels like the band just aren't on it. I don't understand what's going on. It's just not crisp and gelling together. So what we did was, using array processing, we started monitoring the conditions in the room. And before every service, before every event that happened during the day, we took a quick check of the system. We dialed that into array processing, and hey presto, the sensation of something wasn't quite right disappeared, and all of a sudden the system was crisp. Everything sounded bright and clean, and again, everybody enjoyed the system as they should do.
So for you, this means that you can still achieve and deliver on those core values even when circumstances change, so that your team can focus on the creativity without fear of the unknown, and you can really step out of the boat onto the water and do something spectacular. Our next video in this series is one you don't want to miss. It's an exciting innovation within sound systems and a new dimension which returns audio to its true representation of reality. It's called Soundscape.